Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Hobo here today, and it is conference championship week in the NFL. My goodness, this season has just flown by, and we're already 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl. I can't believe it. Uh, yeah, let's just get things kicked off right here with tomorrow's game at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with the Green Bay Packers visiting the Atlanta Falcons in the last football game at the Georgia Dome for the Falcons ever. Going to be an emotional ride for the Falcons and their fans to see, all that history is just going to come to an end, and it would be worse for them. It would be amplified, rather, if they lose this game to the Packers tomorrow, because it's your last game in the Georgia Dome, all that history there, and it's going to be ended on a crushing playoff loss. But all things considered, Green Bay's gotten hot. They're still going to be without Jordy Nelson. Aaron Rodgers is undoubtedly the best quarterback in the league and the best quarterback remaining in the playoffs. And more importantly, the best quarterback in this matchup. So that's going to be a real difference. Aaron Rodgers is a difference maker, bar none. What he did to the Giants in the wild card round was just astounding. It was absolutely phenomenal. The way that the Giants have shut down other quarterbacks like your Dak Prescott, forcing him to throw 2 interceptions in a game, something that he'd only done 2 other times prior to that in the entire season, was phenomenal. And then Aaron Rodgers goes out and throws for 400 yards on us or something like that. Incredible. And without a star wide receiver. So imagine what he's going to do to an Atlanta Falcons defense that still is a very unproven secondary. Their linebackers, they've come a long way. They're a good unit there. Defensively up front, they're good. But the Packers' offensive line, they've been playing well through the playoffs. They've had an exceptional run this season. Sure, you can always argue they've gotten away with a few holes this year, but that's the kind of controversy that spawns. Sure, there's the clearly evident picture on the Jared Cook play last week in Dallas, where one of the Packers' offensive linemen was holding, clearly choking the dude out. But then there's also the Devontae Adams hold that didn't get called. So the way I see it is, if a referee calls something one way or doesn't call something one way for one team, he can't turn around and do the same thing to the next team, because that's just ridiculous. So many Cowboys fans that complain about that. They really have no room to talk. And because they're Cowboys fans, they're just stupid anyway. Yeah, that's right. I hate Cowboys fans just as much as I hate their team, which is quite obvious because I'm a Giants fan. But the Falcons, though, offensively, they're a fantastic group. If you consider, the way that they've turned Taylor Gabriel into a real star. Julio Jones, obviously, as long as he's not bothered by that foot injury, he's going to have a field day against some lackluster Packer corners. Believe they're still going to be without a top corner on defense. Don't quite remember who, but the Packers are certainly lacking in that department. They're going to really rely on their defensive front and linebacker groups to really dominate this game. If they can get the pressure on Matt Ryan, force some errant throws, then they're going to have a good chance to win this football game. But I think it's going to come down a lot to, one or two key stops for each defense. It's going to be an offensive scoring display. If you want to see some touchdowns thrown, this is the game you're going to want to look at. Not so much for the next game, but this game is going to certainly be one for the record books. I am assured. It's going to be fun to see 2 of the best quarterbacks just slinging it, having fun, some backyard football, Speaking of, if you have the backyard football video games, go back and play them because they're so much fun. But that's besides the point. When it comes down to my pick here, I'm going to have to go with the Packers, I feel like they have, at least, on paper, just a stronger overall group. The 53 guys they've got look better to me than the 53 guys that the Falcons have. And, it's such a tough matchup, this game is. But the Packers, the way that they've just ran through people since I believe their last loss was to the Washington Redskins this season. And when you get beat by the Redskins, I feel like that should light any team, to go on a winning streak, because the Redskins are garbage. But the Packers, they're on fire. They really are a hot group, and I don't know any other way to put it. And I don't think that Atlanta can match the amount of points scored to pad or to keep pace with the Packers. We all saw how Atlanta padded held a 16-point lead throughout the game against Seattle, pretty much. But when you've got a quarterback who can go blow for blow with you like that, it's tough. It's tough. It really is. See, even thinking about it now, it's still a hard thing to pick. But the Packers, they still are my choice. They're still the obvious choice, I believe. Still the only team that can win, in my opinion, against either of the two AFC teams, out of the two NFC teams left. But yeah, I'm going to take the Packers to go to the Super Bowl. And that was 6 minutes of your time gone. I'm going to spend another 6 minutes talking about the 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots in Foxborough. Just like with the New York Giants situation on the boat, I believe Antonio Brown's stupid Facebook Live incident is going to come back and bite the Pittsburgh Steelers. My early prediction is the New England Patriots are going to knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers and go to the Super Bowl. Why? Because the Patriots have a strong offensive unit. I believe stronger than whatever they can cook up in Pittsburgh. I think LeGarrette Blount's better than Le'Veon Bell. I think that Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan and who else they have playing wide receiver now? My grandmother probably. They've got Michael Floyd. They've got Malcolm Mitchell, Malcolm Mitchell. They just have an extraordinary group of people. They're the only team in the league in Madden ratings with 290 overall tight ends. And one obviously is gone, but the other, Martellus Bennett, still all-pro level. He's playing at a phenomenal pace for a guy his age. And it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. And then when you look at the numbers, the Steelers, I think Ben Roethlisberger he's like 3-6 or something against Brady, something ridiculous like that, or some statistic where the Steelers literally cannot win in Foxborough because it is so tough to win against New England regardless. But when they're playing at home, they play like a completely different unit. Same can be said with Ben Roethlisberger. He plays terrible on the road. He has a way to get it done at home. But I feel like Antonio Brown's going to be off because he threw off that entire team. It was a stupid thing he did. His coach called him foolish. His coach called him out publicly. That's a matter you want to get wrapped up privately. You wonder why the Giants don't come out and do things. All right, so let me rephrase that. You wonder why the coaches and people like that don't come out and publicly out their players, because you want to keep everybody in good spirits. The Giants made it this far not because of our flamboyant status, but because of the way that we keep everything under wraps. We're such a tight professional organization, and when things like this come along, like the Odell Boat incident, nobody on the team talked about it. The coaches didn't talk about it unless asked. Our owner, John Maris, certainly didn't talk about it at all. That's the type of organization we are. But then with the Steelers, if Antonio Brown does something like that, you have to every single person that works for that group, you have to all take accountability because it's all your fault. It's a reflection on each and every one of the people that worked for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Everybody has to take accountability, like I said, and you got to keep it tight and wrapped up. And I think what Mike Tomlin did was absolutely the worst way to handle this. I know a lot of analysts or professionals, so to speak, say that it was the completely right thing to do to call Antonio Brown out. I don't think so. I think you take him aside, you get some people that work with the organization that know a thing or two more than me, obviously, but you get everybody together, you just have a conversation, you let it all out. Hey, Antonio, what was going through your mind at the time? We want to know how you feeling, well, not like how you feeling like just something terrible just happened, but Like, just run through what he was thinking, and then you got to tell him, this is what the repercussions are. You can't do it again. We're this late in the season. We're a game away from the Super Bowl. We haven't made it since we lost to the Packers 7 years ago now, I think it's going to be. It's a tough situation to be in, but you can't let things like that go public. Obviously, because it's a video on Facebook Live, it was public, but I'm speaking in terms of the way you handled it. The Patriots organization, such a classy organization, regardless of what you think of Spygate and Deflategate. Bill Belichick and their owner's name just flies right off my head. Yeah, but their whole entire organization built Robert Kraft. They're all built on respect and dignity, and that's what's gotten them so far, and that's what's gotten them to the AFC Championship in a ridiculous amount of seasons. I think they've been to, 6 consecutive? Which is the longest streak in either conference of all time in the NFL. They're the most consistent franchise in the history of this league through any stretch of time, through the however many, 100 years or so football's been around. It's unprecedented. The New England Patriots of today are unlike any team we've ever seen. You can throw your 85 Bears out the window. You can throw your Dallas Cowboys of the 90s or the 80s or what have you out the window. The New England Patriots are the end-all be-all of football teams. And regardless of the way you feel about them or their fans, it's the truth. And there's not a chance that they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have one of the worst defenses I've watched with my own 2 eyes this season. And I've seen a lot of games this season. Pretty much every single football game I've been able to have the privilege to watch, I've seen. And that means a lot. I even watched a Giants versus Browns game this season, and I have to say the Browns defense looked a lot stronger in that game than the Steelers defense has looked all year. Sure, you're going to say, oh, but, we got a 34-year-old or whatever he is. I don't even remember his name. The old dude with the ball, James Harrison. We got him with a sweatsuit on in the gym. I don't care what he's doing in the gym. And I don't care that he gets acupunctured twice a week, 3 times a week. Who cares? Show it on the field. Sure, you can make some good plays against Matt Moore and the Miami Dolphins or the Chiefs, which typically are a good offensive unit, and they proved it because, they were the only team to score a touchdown in that game last week, and they did it twice while the Steelers settled for field goals. Ridiculous that the Chiefs didn't win that game. But, it's whatever. Refs can do what refs want to do. And no, this is not just a personal slight on the Steelers by me. I have a lot of respect for a team like that can win and win consistently. But a team that is inconsistent on the field, just like the Seattle Seahawks were this whole season, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been the same way. When Le'Veon Bell doesn't get going, their whole team looks lost. Antonio Brown can't make a play to save his life. The offensive line can't hold up. Ben Roethlisberger's falling all over the place. The team falls apart when their stars don't make plays. And that is utterly ridiculous. You can't be so inconsistent like that. That's what led to the downfall of the New York Giants. I know I keep harping back to the Giants, but they're my only solid example. When Odell was off the mark against the Packers, we fell apart. Simple. Football teams lose football games for very distinct reasons that you can visibly see. When things don't work, you lose. And Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in as long as I've been alive for certain. And he's going to cook up a way to make his defense look like the 85 Bears. He's going to find a way to make his offense look like the 2007 Patriots. And they're going to go out and they're going to lay a beating on the Pittsburgh Steelers like you've never seen before in a championship game. I know it sounds hard to believe because, they wouldn't have made it this far for no reason. But trust me, people, I know what I'm talking about. The Patriots and the Packers are going to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. And that is going to be a discussion we're going to have in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, after I give you my Pro Bowl predictions next week. But, yeah, that's going to do it for me, your boy Hobo. And sorry that I kind of ranted through a lot of this video, but it's 1 in the morning, and I woke up at 3 in the afternoon, so I've got a lot of energy left, and I just wanted to get all that off my chest. So let's do a recap before I sign off. We have the Packers beating the Falcons in an offensive display on Sunday afternoon. Then Sunday evening, we have the Patriots locking up the Steelers and sending them home to Pittsburgh. And that leaves, in 2 weeks' time, Super Bowl 51, Houston, Texas, the Green Bay Packers technically at the New England Patriots. And that's it. That's all I got to know. I'm a genius. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me, your boy Hubbo, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.